A Family Business Guide. Chapter 1. Family and Business. Family Business 1. Although the term family business conjures up an image of a small ma-and-pa operation like a grocery store or a dry cleaning business, there are many privately owned corporations and large companies that are run by families. Many publicly traded companies are still run by a family even though they have to abide by the law of keeping a board of directors. They still keep it in the family. Simply set appropriate limits and rules on the board and keep enough family members in it to keep control. Get rid of dissidents who want to take over control of the business. Some family businesses have specific visions, others just go along and probably succeed because of the family element. They enjoy their work and the public at large enjoys the personable service. Of course, nepotism is rampant. You can hire whoever you want, so it usually means relatives and friends of relatives. A lot of children of the owners of large companies say they regret the way they were raised, to focus on the business, work in it and be expected to have a career in it. Many do, some don't. Although loyalty is a big positive, most family business owners say the biggest misconception is that the public at large thinks they're loaded with money. They don't realize all the costs involved or what it takes to run a family business. The strength of the family business concept is that when father, mother, son, daughter, and other relatives work together, they create happiness, power, and generally a good atmosphere for production and expansion. People try harder in a family business than in other businesses. Family and business are intertwined. It becomes a lifestyle like the old-fashioned family farm. Make outside workers feel welcome. Add them to the management team if necessary. Encourage your children to explore life on their own first and take on other jobs before they come to the family business. The family is the most basic institution of society. Everybody idealizes it. People generally like to see successful family businesses and give them business because they like the atmosphere as long as they're competitive in other areas too. It reminds them of their families and what they want out of life, a happy family. There's a togetherness and intimacy there that's generally quite rare in society. A family is blood, heritage, your ancestors. All this rides on the family business, your reputation, how trustworthy you are and how good your product is, which is another reason people generally like family businesses, because they know it's a personal thing to try to do well, not just a cold impersonal corporation trying to sell as many widgets as possible. A personal sounding family name often comes across better than a cold sounding corporate name too. Family businesses are generally emotionally and cooperatively based as opposed to other businesses which are more production oriented and less personal. You can generally talk things out with family members and compromise more easily than in other corporations. Successful family businesses are revered because they represent good old-fashioned values of the family working together. Family businesses are good if you can keep from fighting each other. I come from a family meat business. As kids, we all had jobs and our father paid us well, but because we were family, we were freer than other folk to express our emotions, thus we had our squabbles, but overall it was good because it was a good business, so we had money. We had freedom from the workforce and we had a closeness of family contact you rarely get anywhere else in society except for family farms, which are also family businesses. As we got older, I got away from the business to go my own way while my brothers took it over, which was fine because it was my choice. I didn't care about an equitable share of the inheritance because I was determined to be independent and earn my own cash without a handout, but I knew another guy who got away from his family business to go his own way too. Then his brothers took it over and he eventually needed a handout, a job, just some help. He told me he felt as though his brothers were pushing him out, not giving him an equitable piece of the pie. The family business was the family's asset. It was all right that he wasn't part of it, but as a member of the family, he felt he deserved an equitable share of the family wealth somehow, either a percentage share as a silent partner, a lump sum of money, or an annual stipend. He felt it was only fair that since his brothers got the business, he should get something. I agree with him and believe that this is the cause of virtually all fights within family businesses. the children don't feel they're getting an equitable share of the business when it's divided up, or the patriarch's will is read, so they squabble, sue each other, end up hating each other and destroying each other, all because of the family business. According to a relative who runs a family business, there are several important guidelines in running a successful family business. The family should be stronger than the business. If somebody is screwing up, give him a chance, but if somebody makes a mistake, don't fire them just for business sake. Reassign them to a new position. Have a clear, specific direction that everybody knows about. Give everybody their own sphere of responsibility and control. Be wary of business fights because they often combine family baggage along with them. Talk regularly to keep things out in the open. Listen to the ideas your relatives give you. Everybody in the family should do their own things away from the family. The strength of the family business should be loyalty, pride, passion, and an inner bond stronger than any other type of organization out there. Blood is thicker than water, family stronger than the outside world, which should be the built-in strength such businesses have, provided they don't all have big egos and want to run the show, otherwise known as sibling rivalry. There will be spats no matter what. Try to follow the golden rule and trust your family members no matter what. You need a balance of family and business there. Cooperate together rather than compete with each other. When the patriarchs of the business get old, they should slow down, step aside, and let the younger generation take over and implement their own ideas. Family business too. Some wise people once said you can't serve two masters and too many cooks spoil the broth. While teamwork and creative contributions are good, in the end there has to be one unit, either an individual or a set of 2 or 3 people who make the final decision as to the vision or direction of a company. In a family business, this can be tough, especially if you've got 4 brothers working side by side. Should the older brother automatically be the leader because of age? Should it be an equal partnership, or should you just leave it hanging democratically, handling each situation as a loose group when and as it happens? There should be one definite central leader so the rest of the family and the workers know who's boss and who ultimately shoulders the responsibility and the blame. There are all kinds of problems or issues with family businesses. The old man is getting too old, he wants to pick a successor, but his 2 sons are boozers and lowlifes who will trash the business and sell it, so should he give it to his daughter or go outside the family for a responsible manager for 10 years, thereby giving his boys some time to smarten up and write up a provision in his will that they can take it over provided they've gotten a business degree, test negative for alcohol and drug abuse for a year or something like that? These are the types of things family businesses face. The way to find a successor is to get all your children to work in the business, pick the most interested, loyal, and dedicated one and ask him or her at about the age of 19 if they want to prepare to take the business over in gradual stages as they get older. Don't raise clones. Don't be too quick about one of them taking over unless you're on your deathbed and need a successor right away. Raise people with their own minds and visions. Make them work in all sectors of the company so they know the business. If you don't want to pass the business on to a single heir, you can pass it on to multiple heirs, but this almost always leads to some kind of problems because of the egos of the people involved. Rare is the family that can lead smoothly as a team. There's usually one clear boss. Teach them to be interactive and democratic with each other. A third option is the inactive owner, the one who doesn't want to work in the business, so he may be the owner on paper, taking a certain percentage of the profits while a management team runs day-to-day operations. You could make one son the active owner and give the other sons each a percentage interest as inactive owners, but stipulate in the will/contract that they can't interfere with the daily operation of the business nor demand cash. They would be paid quarterly dividends and get a certain percentage if the business is sold or pass the ownership down to their heirs. Don't play favorites with your kids. Let each of them earn their position in the business. Make them all start at the bottom and work their way up. Mentor them as they go along. Give your kids part-time jobs after school, on weekends and in the summer. Many children rebel and go their own way for a while but often come back to the family business. There will always be a generation gap, the old-fashioned slow quality way versus the new automated, quick high production way. We always had quarrels with our father because he said we were too fast, not interested in the craftsmanship of the business. Many children have personal issues like you don't want to be a clone of your father, or you may try extra hard to succeed and earn his respect. Know your relationship with your father on a deep level to better understand yourself. The same goes for girls in the family business. Are you daddy's little girl looking for approval, or an independent, competent businesswoman? Less than one half of all family businesses survive to the second generation, even less to the third. You have to take proactive steps while your kids are young. Get them working in the family business, then let them go on their own so they can see for themselves how tough it is out there, and that all jobs, no matter how good, are a drag next to the freedom you get when you run your own business. You should expose your kids to the business, but don't push them. Simply let it be known that you need a successor, hold a meeting if you have to, and if one steps forward, start to groom him or her as the future leader. If all step forward, groom them all, there's always room for expansion. The biggest problem people in family businesses have is lack of communication. Because they're part of the family, it often means that they don't have to be as formal as a regular business, as bureaucratic, or cover their butts, so they often let things slide, with the net result of the non-communication being complications and problems. Strive for harmony and balance. Be personal enough to have a comfortable atmosphere, but tough enough to keep your people accountable to you in a professional manner. Many family businesses stick with one formula and it works, like the local bakery or the comfortable family restaurant, but times are changing and many family businesses must change with them in order to survive. In today's world, a bakery should have a drive-through window with quick service and maybe expand into catering, selling gourmet coffee beans, etc. in order to keep pace with changing times, otherwise it might lose out to McDonald's, the supermarket bakery, and the coffee shop at the mall. When the business gets big, one way to keep family in it is to make up a family business statement and put it up on the wall where all the workers can see it. Something about keeping a family atmosphere, treating everyone as part of the family, everybody's important as a contributing member of the corporate family, our reputation is everything. We strive for excellence, you're part of our family reputation to the world, etc. Be good to your employees, make them feel like part of the family. Pay them well, educate them, promote them, give them opportunities to better themselves, and they will grow to love working there. Have a Christmas party and summer barbecue every year where you pay for everything. Give them all a Christmas bonus if you're doing well. Don't be a fat cat and hoard the wealth, because they will come to despise you then. One family business owner had a philosophy that he boldly put on a plaque on the wall at the front of his business, which reads something like, "Howard's Family Restaurant has been happily serving the people of Roseville since 1907. Our motto is no one leaves Howard's without a smile and a full, happy stomach. If you have a question or problems, don't hesitate to talk to our friendly staff at any time. Customer satisfaction for every customer is our policy." They put a similar message on every placemat. Consider something like this for your business. In order for a family business to continue on, you must keep bringing the new generation into work, like your grandchildren and great-grandchildren. Regenerate the leaders and patriarchs with each new generation. Beyond the personal issues among family men, most family businesses fail because they want to stay small and family-like. You can expand, even go public with a stock offering, and still keep it in the family. Expansion and change are important considerations. Many people want to keep their businesses small and homey, but the reason a lot of them fail is because they keep this small mentality. Sometimes you have to go modern and corporate where required, expand, hire outside management, organize, get serious about it. But my counter argument is that a lot of family businesses don't want this, and sometimes if you're doing all right with a small family business, it's fine to keep it that way without attempting to expand all the time. But be wary that your little mom and pop operation doesn't become a prime candidate for liquidation because of some big retailer like a Walmart. Your products and service have to be unique and that much better than the big chains in order to survive in these times of the superstore. Everybody wants a job in a family business. In-laws, cousins, distant relatives, friends, friends of friends, etc. Give them jobs if you feel so inclined, but make it perfectly clear that there's no free lunch, no preferential treatment. They have to pull their weight and prove themselves like everybody else. Besides nepotism, another problem with a family business is the personal aspect. Everybody knows everybody else's personal business. I like my family, but I like my privacy too. But when you work face to face, you see each other every day and know each other's problems. You can see if your brother is drinking too much, if he's sad, henpecked by his wife, if the in-laws interfere with his life and want a piece of the business, etc. You can also see if somebody's not pulling their weight or taking liberties like too much money, product for personal use, missing work, coming in late, etc. And you have to be the one to rein them in. Since men are traditionally the owners of the business, where do you position your wife and daughters if, in fact, at all? It's wise to get them both involved, the wife so she can step in if the old man has health problems or dies suddenly, the daughter because she might take it over someday. Working close together is nice when all is well, but when there are problems or the business is failing, you see the negative sides of your family members too. There are all kinds of minor problems. Let's say there are only enough positions for 3 summer jobs, but you all have kids who want jobs. That's the kind of stuff you deal with in a family business. Substance abuse is a major problem in life and business. If a family member who works in the business gets too involved in alcohol and drugs, you have to play big brother, talk to him and deal with it in a mature, constructive way. Don't just ignore it and let him self-destruct. Fire him if you have to. Get him help. Implement a no booze on the job policy. 30 years ago, most small businesses were drinking in the back room to make the day go easier. I don't see it much anymore. After the patriarch, aka the old man, signs over the business, he often can't let go. You have to give him some kind of role and basically let him do his little projects because he is the former boss. He's old, so let him go on with the only thing he knows as long as he doesn't interfere too much. Before you pick a successor, ask yourself if they're good material from an objective point of view, not just because he's your eldest son or something like that. You have to pick the best one for the job, even if it's your youngest granddaughter. Don't just follow a line of succession by rote. The successor should be a highly motivated individual who's been around out in the real world on their own a bit, probably went to college, didn't have to get a degree, and worked at a few different places enough to know they want to be part of the family business. They should have a vision for the company. Talk to several people you have in mind to get a feel for the best candidate. See who can be tough with family members if they must. See who can take crap from family members. You will die. Don't hang on and wait until you're on the verge to give up the reins. Give them up while you're alive, go into semi-retirement and give the young generation a chance. Don't think the business can't survive without you. Everybody's expendable, even the company founder. Look what they did to Edison or Steve Jobs of Apple. They voted him out, then took him back a decade later. Gradually phase yourself out of operations. Make sure the successor has his or her hands dirty from working in the trenches of the business. Get outside managers if you need them. Let go. Find a hobby to occupy your time. Become a business teacher through the local continuing education program or start a small hobby business. The mother should work in the business, especially while the kids are growing up, because if the father gets sick, dies or has to go on a trip, she has to step in and take over. I saw one case on TV about a prominent business owner who died unexpectedly and she had to take over, so it happens. A major point about family business is estate taxes when the patriarch dies if he's the sole owner and it's part of his estate. Try to make the business into a joint partnership, corporation, or sign it over to the next generation before you pass on to avoid tremendous hassles with probate and estate taxes. Check out the rest of this book, My Money Book, number 346 at the library, and talk to your lawyer and accountant about it. Some family members get tired of the business and want to go out on their own or even sell the business. Let people explore their lives, but before you sell, think twice. The world out there is harsh. You will never get the freedom and comfort out there that you do in the family business. If you as a family have a fight, you shouldn't do it in front of the workers. Try to keep it behind closed doors. Define your roles. Give everyone a specific job they want and can handle. A family business can run smoothly and still be a good family. One of the siblings may die, his wife, an in-law may inherit all his ownership and want to sell, so you should put some clause in your contracts about in-laws who inherit and want to sell, preventing them from trashing the company. The same holds true for divorce. Safeguard the business legally from scorned in-laws. The biggest problems with family businesses are bad wills, in-laws, divorce, too many bosses, self-bosses, everybody doing what they want, no accountability to the boss, fights, arguments, less formality, therefore a slack attitude, working too closely, need more space, starting the kids off in a management position. Start them off sweeping the floor when they're kids. Older generation versus young generation for control. More emotional, don't have to keep restrained because they're not afraid of losing their jobs. Afraid to fire a disruptive family member. Competition among family members. The best way to deal with these problems is to run it as a for-profit business like you would a regular business, and if any family member screws up, remind him or her you're in business. It's not a nepotism fairyland. Listen to your family members, but let them know who's boss. If you give a promotion or a bonus to family members and not to the other workers, you've just destroyed the atmosphere and could be the recipient of workplace sabotage. Many family retail businesses operate mostly on a cash basis with very little paperwork. Beware, because the IRS targets cash-oriented family businesses and will charge you with tax evasion unless you keep everything in order. The revitalization of the company and the regeneration of leadership are the keys to running a successful family business. The older generation mustn't hold the power for too long. They must always pass the torch on to the younger generation while they're passionate, creative, and ready to work hard on making a go of it. If they wait too long, they will have lost their spark and faded to middle-aged complacency like everyone else. Hand over the reins while they're young so they can give it their best shot while they got the inspiration inside of them. You can still work there, but back off and take a more public relations role, socializing with the customers. Families are evolving systems. They can run smoothly and develop for a while, but there may be disagreements or tension, especially among siblings or father and son. In such cases, talk it out, don't let it get to the point of no return, resolve it quickly to get back into a peaceful, harmonious mode. In the end, you need a balance of a cozy family type setting mixed in with the professionalism of running a business. Discuss the business with your family, the vision, the day-to-day operations and the problems. Try to work as a team where everybody likes their work and gets what they want out of the deal. Make decisions together, solve problems together, love each other, love your work, and consider yourself blessed for being in a situation where you get to work with your family in your own business. Books about family business are at hashtag 658.022 to hashtag 658.045 or HD 62.25 at the library. Couples in business. A couple in business together can work greatly if you don't step on each other's toes and get in each other's way, each trying to do the same job, the other's job, or trying to be top dog like king of the castle. These are the problems couples could face if they work together, so the way to avoid it is to each take one segment of the business. The woman usually takes the front end retail end while the guy takes the back end production part of it, and both do the paperwork together in a kind of give and take scenario. No set rigid roles, each helping the other when and as required, whatever the business needs. Each pick your strength, work in that area and stay out of the other's turf. The man is generally the symbolic head, but it's not about that, it's about a team, a couple, a family working together and bringing the kids into it later on. There are many small businesses good for couples, like anything retail, an inn, a small hotel, restaurant, farm, crafts, specialty newspaper, etc. You're bound by the limits of your imagination and the needs of the marketplace. Find your niche as a couple and go with it. Happiness is working together and being friends and lovers at the same time. Business and passion can work well together, each in its own place. Work hard when you need to, but enjoy the journey. Have fun and love each other on the way. Happiness is loving what you do, doing what you love and loving who you do it with. Mom and pop businesses are generally small, specialized businesses in bigger cities or general businesses in small towns run by a couple and maybe their kids. People generally like these businesses for the homey feeling and specialized, personable service as long as the price is right. That's always the bottom line, price. If it's low enough to be competitive with the chain stores, the people will come or simply locate in a small town that needs the particular product line or service you're interested in. If you feel strongly about it, put the business in both of your names as a joint ownership. Beware though that everybody needs space away from each other. Too much closeness may erode the romance in the relationship, and too much focus on business even at home may make both of you dull creatures, so always bear in mind to give each other space and get away from the business every once in a while. Keep it as an equal partnership, not superior subordinate. Joint couple business ventures can destroy marriages as couples get tired of each other, so always keep it in mind to keep it fun and light and don't take it too seriously. It's always good if each person knows something about every aspect of the business, especially with older couples, since one is bound to die before the other and the other will have to carry it on at least for a while. The man must be aware that in addition to working in the business, the wife will generally do all the domestic work at home plus raise the kids if you have them, so help her out with the housework and cut her some slack, like leaving her work part-time instead of full-time. Some couples play the blame game, blaming each other for mistakes and problems in the business. Be wary of this trap. If it happens, it might be better if one goes off to get a job somewhere else, leaving the other to run the business and hire employees who they're not emotionally involved with to keep it all at a safe professional working level, which is better off in some cases. Some couple just can't work together in a business, it's that simple. Books about couples in business are at 658.022 and HD 2341 at the library. Divorce and business. If you live in a community property state, Arizona, California, Idaho, Louisiana, New Mexico, Nevada, Texas, Washington, and Wisconsin, and plan to get divorced, your business could crumble as a result, because you will probably have to come up with a large lump sum to appease your former spouse. Remember, all assets acquired during the marriage are supposed to be split 50-50. In equitable distribution states, the judge still won't necessarily be sympathetic. He will take at least 25% of the business and give it to the wife unless you settle with her or him somehow. Your best bet is to make an agreement in advance with your lawyer and spouse when the business is in its infancy as to a fair settlement should there be a breakup later on. It could save you lots of hassles. Tell your spouse your business partners demanded it to protect their collective butts. Get a prenuptial agreement if you're not married yet, and don't be bashful about it. A postnuptial agreement is the same type of agreement made up after the couple is married. It's reality and necessary so as not to trash your company should the time ever come. If you go public, offer your spouse some of your stocks over the years. divorceinfo.com/familybusiness.htm divorcelawfirms.com smartdivorce.com/report/business.shtml Family business websites. Books about family businesses are at #658.045 or HD 62.25 at the library. coupleswealth.com familybusinessonline.org familybusinessonline.org/frm_checklist_couples.aspx fpanet.org sleepingwithyourbusinesspartner.com Sleeping with Your Business Partner by Mike Gross and Beck Stewart. Family-business-experts.com FamilyBusinessInstitute.com fmis.com FamilyBizCenter.com FamilyBusiness.unh.edu family-business-experts.com, familybusinessmagazine.com, familybusinessorganizer.com, farmsuccession.com, The Family Farm, ffi.org, Family Firm Institute, hsb.baylor.edu/html/cell/fb, infobusinessfamilies.com, Family Business Resources, Family Business Advisor Newsletter, POG 4356, Marietta, Georgia 30061, 800-551-0633, arthur-anderson.com, Family Firm Institute, 12 Harris Street, Brookline, Massachusetts 02146, 617-738-1591, fax 617-738-4883, Professional Assistance to Family Business, National Family Business Council, 1000 Vermont Avenue, NW, Washington, D.C. 20005, 202-347-2048. Lobbying Organization for Family Businesses, U. Mass Family Business Center, 353 North Pleasant Street, Amherst, Massachusetts 01003-1650, 413-545-1537, umass.edu/fmis.